Evening, folks. Welcome to another Irish whiskey review with me, Marty McCauley. So tonight I wanted to do this, the Hinch Irish whiskey, peated, single malt, triple distilled, bottled at 43%. Yes, the reason being today it was confirmed that Hinch ran their stills for the very first time. So this is the 9th of November 2020, so a little bit of good news for some people, and Irish whiskey fans, and for the good folks down there at Hinch. So congratulations. Moving forward, it's nice to see these things. There's still life happening, there's still things moving forward, there's still progression, that they haven't stopped, and they ran the first spirit through the stills today. So excellent stuff, excellent. Now, I thought today we would do this one, peated Irish whiskey. Now, obviously, because they've only ran their own spirit, this is not their own spirit. I'm not sure where this actually comes from. They don't say on the bottle, but I'm going to say that I think it probably comes out of the Great Northern Distillery, Dr. John Teeling's place. I think. I can't be 100% sure, but I think it is. Now, yeah, I like a peated whiskey. I've said this before, and I do like peated Irish when it's done well. And this is slightly different than most Irish whiskey, or most peated whiskies, I should say, in that it's triple distilled. So it's got that Irish aspect to it, but also got that Scottish element that people associate with Scotland. Lots of people associate Scotch whisky with being peated. I mean, it's not historically accurate, because if you watch one of the earlier shows that we did, lots of Irish whiskies would have been peated many moons ago, but this is one of these things that's developed over time. Not really strictly accurate, but it's nonetheless what it is. But now that it is coming back, I expect to see some more of these peated Irish, triple distilled, peated pot stills, and all this kind of stuff. This is all where Irish whiskey's going, and it'll have much more variety and different styles appearing, and different cask finishes, and all of this is all feeding into this new industry. That just keeps gathering pace, really. I like this. This is, I'm just laying the groundwork here, folks, so there's no big surprise at the end. This is a very good whiskey. It's also extremely reasonably well priced. This is about 35 to 40 pounds a bottle, which for a single malt at 43%, really good quality, new bottle shape, their own branding, their own bottle, all of this costs money, folks. And so there's been no money skimped on this, and you benefit. It's the customer that benefits when the company puts the money in up front. It's the customer who reaps that reward. Most businesses, just because of the nature of the whole thing, they start off, they're always trying to save money and save the costs there and then at the start, because that's just the way they have to do it. The Hinch, the guy that owns the Hinch, decided, put the money in at the start and it'll all come good. And you can see the benefit of that. All the money's been invested up front, and the distillery is going to welcome, it's the capacity to welcome 100,000 visitors a year. It's going to have a pub and it's going to age their own whiskey on site. It's going to do everything there, and it's going to have weddings and all of that. It's a big operation. I was lucky enough to get a tour around it way back at the start of the year, before when we were allowed to actually go out and about. You know, now there's not a lot of colouring in that, if there's any at all. Very light in colour. This is not an old whiskey. There's not a huge age to it. There's no age statement on it, but it's probably not more than sort of 4 or 5 years old. So with that, it hasn't got massive depths of the age coming from the wood, but we don't necessarily worry about that when it's a peated whiskey, because the older the peat, the further you go away from the distillation and aging it in casks, the less peat's going to be there. So if you're a big fan of peated whiskies, you probably you aren't looking for massive age in a peated whiskey, really. That's the general rule of thumb. It's always going to disappear over a period of time. On the nose, it's sweet. It's obviously smoky from the peat, but it's got a very sweet smoke. Kind of like sweet bacon, smoked bacon, smoky bacon. That where the meat has come in, it's caramelized, it's sugared inside the fat, and it's got that to it. It's got a little touch of citrus zest, lemon zest, which I normally associate with a Lafroig. I always get that from Lafroig, that lemon punchiness that comes through. And there's a smoked fish element to this. Don't let that put you off, because lots of people, I've said this about some people before. I was in Glen Scotia and I said about a expression that they had, and I said there's a fresh fish note coming through. That I don't mean by that it's fishy. It's fresh fish, or in this case it's smoked fish, which is really good quality. It's a seaside element to this. You kind of want to say brine, and all of that sort of sea, harbour, kippery. Yeah, it's like being down at the beach, you know. Not a beach, a harbour, you know, working harbour. You get that kind of smell. Yeah, it's smoked meat, lemon, kippers. There's wood there because it's kind of fresh wood that's coming through. Sweet peat, nice. It's nice on the nose. Nice on the nose. Again, there is a little citrus zip there. Again, the sweet meat. Like there's almost orange flesh. Again, it's that citrus note, but it's the lovely sweetness, the sweet smoke coming in. On the finish, when the finish just comes on, there's fennel. There is again that the smoke. Obviously, it's funny because this is fairly heavily peated. It's got a fair amount of peat in it, but it's not dominated by the peat. The peat plays around and it moves with these different flavours. The sweet meats. There's still some wood. A little bit of nut, but I'm not really sure what nut that is. But there's a little bit of nut there. Walnut. Yeah, it's really, really good because the peat just plays its part the whole way through, and the flavours dance around it, and it plays this wonderful sort of melody. Now at 43%, possibly a little bit of water for some people. Some people probably won't touch this with water. I'm going to give it about 3/4 of a teaspoon with my little silver spoon. Give it a little shake. No, so this distillery has now started its run, and it's great news to hear. As I say, it's between Belfast and Hinch, right on the main road. You can't miss it. It's a big place, and lots of exciting things will be coming from them over the next period of time. Yeah. The water gives this a bit more of the brine, a little bit more of the saltiness is coming out here. It's sort of taken back a little bit of the meat, and the smoke almost comes up a little bit. But again, it changes it. It's altered it. Brought it down with the flavours. In my opinion, the water doesn't help it a huge amount. The peat has actually went from being really quite sweet down to being a little bit more savoury, and the sweet meat hasn't. It's still there, but it's not just as sharp. It's not just packed like a ham at Christmas where it's got the sugar backing. It's just a little bit more meaty than it would be sweet. So the water's taking a little bit of the sweetness out of it. And again, on the palate, it's done something similar. The finish isn't massively long, other than the smoke. The smoke lingers. There's with that now. There's a little bit of chocolate coming in there. The fennel's kind of dissipated it out of it and been replaced by that sort of a little bitter chocolate. The water, I would leave the water. 43%. It's quite punchy at that and better for it. At 43, there's a little bit of heat with it and a little bit of chili. When you put the water in it, it douses it out. So I would keep it at 43. Don't put water in it. Try it. Obviously, try it with some water in it. But I'm going to recommend keep it at 43. I like this. Really like it. And at 35, 40 pounds a bottle, this is exceptional value for money. So with that, I would give it 8.5. But since it's their birthday, since it's like wetting the baby's head, if you like, I'm going to give it 9 out of 10 as a little bonus for them. I recommend, if you haven't got this, get it. It's the best of the range that they do currently. I've tried a few others, and I'll review them at some other point, but this is my favourite of their range. So happy birthday, congratulations. Haven't heard if it's a boy or a girl, but it's like your birthday. So without further ado, enjoy yourself, stay safe, get yourselves a bottle of this, and hopefully we'll see you again soon. Take care, folks. Bye bye.